Marcus? Familiarizing myself. Marcus Bodie? That's okay. Sure, thank you. William. Greetings, absolutely. Oh, probably. The name's William. Tim, good to meet you. So I'm a hometown native here, trying to uncover some.
You what?
A hometown native here, so I'm born and raised here. But kind of got thrown into the mix late in life in terms of understanding how the city works and so forth. So the quick questions I had was, we're trying to find out what the boundaries are of Jefferson Park, and I've completed all of the tasks in a loop, basically. What had started it was that there was a controversy or alleged controversy about what the boundaries were. An officer had went to the Parks Department and had grabbed one of their, what turns out to be an internal map that they had used. They didn't clarify that it was just a service map versus a boundary map. And so I've kind of figured out mostly everything. I've gone to the real estate department, got the lease. I found the actual railroad company's lease to the city for purposes of the park, and so I actually have the actual printout and everything too. But then the only last question I had was with your guys' department. You're the only ones that have this. Well, actually, it's not you're the only ones, but there's okay. So fcmaps.com or fcgov, the GIS web, what you guys told us. So Jefferson Park is going here all the way here. Obviously, it includes the railroad tracks, and so and the parking lot. That's kind of what I'm asking about. Mm-hmm. First off. The confusion here was that the map that was used by the officer had it going out to the curb line over there, and so it actually included some of the 100-foot right-of-way, which was a big mistake because we're not in a park. But all that's being dealt with. We kind of have figured that all out. I just kind of wanted to run this by you guys since you've seen this map here before. I didn't know where to find info for that parcel there, because if you go to the county side. It shows the same two things, but then it shows that a separate parcel, and so I can imagine
that's the right-of-way, the railroad right-of-way.
Yeah, so I imagine the railroad company owns that land and that because that's what they leased out as this is the park.
Yeah.
But then this guy, do you have any info on how that turned into a park?
That should be
because it is city property. Yeah, it definitely says at the very least that it's Fort Collins' property. But then I imagine you guys might have included it as part of the park because it's a parking lot for it, maybe? And that's what's now included in the actual park. So I couldn't find any info anywhere that tells us that parking lot closes.
Yeah, I don't really...
Yeah, if you guys...
I can only direct you to what the county has, but that shouldn't show up as a park.
Okay, so the county, it would be the 351... their address and everything. That sounds like that would be something I could go look up, the parcel number and everything.
Right. So.
Yeah. Usually it has the subdivision name, but.
Right. So I believe, and I was just looking at that not too long ago.
Suite 160.
If you look at the county's website.
Yeah, this is the county here, Land.
Oh, they changed their stuff. Okay.
Oh yeah, this is like their mobile version. That's why. Yeah.
This is actually part of this. It's just not. It's just subdivided, and this is a parking lot.
Yeah, exactly. So if we were to go base maps, imagery, maybe that might help. Yeah, so it's the parking lot that you can enter from over there.
Right.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it's part of the other stuff anyway. So I've never really been.
Yeah. Now, how that came in to be look like in a park is not right.
Exactly, and that's also why I came here, is because if that isn't part of the park, that would be an easy discrepancy to go fix.
Right.
It would be very nice, and that's kind of my report to you now. But lo and behold, the to be determined, I'm very glad to see is itself just the Linden Street Holdings. They bought that from the railroad company, and then that's what the actual park is as far as the lease goes. It just happened to line up and everything. So so here, basically, I mean, what I'm trying to get to is I had been ticketed in this sidewalk over here. Officer said that the boundary went here, just to the railroad ties, out to the curb, and then around here, and that was the service boundary. Service for like picking up trash, things like that. And so I'm trying to reverse this conviction of being in a park when I'm not in a park, when the officer basically took a map from the Parks Department, didn't follow up with them. I've since followed up, and I've gotten all the info, and so I'm not too worried. But yeah, that was the only thing left, was that little piece up there. How does that connect to this one over here? And if it is part of the park, then maybe you guys could redefine it to not include the railroad, but just still have this strip and that strip. That way it's still
Yeah, it's
closed.
not the park.
So as long as, as far as I can tell, the lease only included this.
Right.
And so it definitely wouldn't be part of the park.
Right.
But in that
That's
case,
definitely not park.
yeah.
And,
Maybe they thought it would be used as a parking lot for a park, and kind of like how they close. What's another good example? Well, I can't remember, but some parking lots are always included with the park, depending on where it is. So, but yeah. So in that case, then maybe you could put a little point for me back there, just to redo the line, the shading, so that the FC maps only includes the true street of
that is
strip
really
of Jefferson Street.
strange.
Yeah, because it includes the railroad company too. So, I mean, from the original lease, you could imagine that's why, maybe. And I'm thinking that whoever made it probably wanted that closed, in the sense of, well, it's a park. If no one's going to be in a park at night, no one's going to be parking next to a park at night.
Yeah.
But then again, it's...
So this particular information that you're looking at, that's actually really hard to change, because this data, although it has our stuff in here on the bottom, it's served out from another company.
So it's all raw data that you import.
It's like
Polygon files or something was telling me.
it's basically stuff that this company, whose name is ESRI, they
Your little surveyor company kind of thing.
Huh?
Are they the city's
They're a
type
data
of surveyor?
they're basically a software company.
Oh, okay.
They
okay.
serve out geographic information.
Uh-huh.
So what I'm saying is, so the map that you're looking at right now is basically an image. So, and they don't update that stuff.
Very often.
Very often. It's like every 6 months.
And then only upon noticed discrepancy too.
So if you looked at FC maps, that would look different.
Yeah. No, this is the FC maps. Yeah, this is the mobile version of FC maps. It's the
right. But what I'm trying to say is, though, the colored parts of it. Okay, that's actually a layer of data. That we're using from a different company. So, because when you click on the parcel, see if it highlights it.
Results. It would be the same as the county where it's highlighting it, right? It would only select just that section.
Right.
Yeah, it's weird that it won't. Oh wait, if we go through them, maybe it'll. You'll have to see how the maybe on a PC it's easier without the mobile app. But so if I were to click on that, most likely it would select based on the parcels.
Right.
Like when you select the view.
When you're in a so like when you're in the map and you turn off the background of the see, you could see right there, it's
exactly. Yeah, that's an actual parcel.
So somebody has drawn the park incorrectly.
Exactly. That's exactly my point. Was that line isn't necessarily supposed to be there. So here, if we were to go to layers, there might be. We could turn off parks. And maybe a whole bunch of other stuff. And sure enough, Oh, I see. In this case, I think it's still referring to the actual railroad company's property, the true parcel.
Yeah.
It looks like original townsite annex.
But even so, this is separate. It should never have been included.
Yeah, so, you're right. When you turn off that, let's put it this way. When you turn off the map for Jefferson, it exposes the original parcel lines, which is here and this whole big chunk here, not including that. And then I'm pretty sure maybe that's why the county shows that as a separate strip, is because that just got sold to Linden Street.
Yeah, and they're
just that strip.
Yet. Boy, actually, that would be, if that just got sold, that part, then that is an update.
Yeah. When I looked at the lease did not specifically include the railroad company. So the railroad company finished out its lease there, owns it exclusively, sold this to Linden Street, and they exclusively have that as theirs. So that all makes sense of the original Jefferson Street Park, eventually turning into the Linden Street Holdings borders. Are there now? You can kind of see the borders. But yeah, so that's all consistent. And then basically the only things I found off were a since pulled map they don't offer anymore in parks, saying that I was in a park down there. And then of course I was all scratching my head because of the parking lot there. So it sounds to me like that parking lot should be fixed. Or I'll put in a little note somewhere, or you can either way. But that's kind of what I was just trying to get to the bottom of, as simple as that.
Okay.
But I'm just let's put it this way. I was really shocked. I had pulled other stuff. I didn't get to the lease in time, and I'm going pro se because I was wronged by public affairs in the past, so I kind of took the risk. I lost the trial, but I still presented everything to the DA and to the cop of what they technically should have known or what they could have used to sniff up the right chain. And so I showed them an actual plat of the area, 100-foot right-of-way. I showed them FC maps and everything like that. And they said, save that for court. We're not going to go investigate. We're just going to go off of this one map. And on the street, they said they talked to the city attorney to confirm this map. And then when pressed in the trial, they said, I thought I only needed to talk to the Parks Department. So they kind of had to, trying to racketeer to cover up and get out of the crime, that they didn't actually confirm with the department the true boundaries. They assumed maybe or something like that. And, so I don't want to be the bearer of bad news, but, I think the cop isn't doing his job.
Listen, I got to get to
absolutely. No, I don't mean... no, that's perfect. That's just kind of the confirmation I was looking for, is that you didn't recognize it, which means that it sounds to me like it needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
so we'll keep looking.
What that is.
Yeah. Well, it's also good to know just because... is that if that parking lot is closed and a cop gives somebody a ticket, what's his probable cause based off of an incorrect map?
Right.
I don't know if that's a tough one because I can't figure out if that's still probable cause because he was misinformed with a fact, or he's supposed to know law. So you can get away with a mistake of fact in a case, but if you get a mistake of law in there, you're trying to say that you need to know right away law.
Right.
I think an officer would probably be able to. You should be able to take my maps and go and ask these kind of questions because they don't have legends and stuff. But no worries. Thank you very much, man.